they're passing the basket through the crowd, and I think everybody standing here should put $1 in that basket. Don't you think you should? Sure, these are freedom dollars, brother. We're not asking you to give us some money to make us rich. We put up businesses. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has set up more businesses than any black man in America. He's not trying to build churches, he's trying to build businesses. Because businesses make jobs for you, and churches don't make jobs for anybody but preachers. Throughout America, only on a modern scale, you have a house Negro and a field Negro. That Negro big shot, the upper class Negro, the middle class Negro, in every city, that black bourgeoisie. They aren't oppressed like you and I are. Before the Emancipation Proclamation, they lived in the white man's house. Go to the Waldorf Astoria. Go downtown to where the white people are, and you'll find the house Negro. Go to these integrated parties, you'll find the house Negro. Go to the integrated schools and colleges, you'll find the house Negro. Go where the Uncle Toms are, and you'll find the house Negro. Go where the Negro leaders are, and you'll find the house Negro.
If it were possible for them to get a fair trial, there would be no necessity for a trial at all. These are the victims of police bullets, and you don't take the victim in court as a criminal. You take the one who shot the victim in court, and it is the police who should be on trial here in Los Angeles.
Well, if you think you can't get a fair trial here, why don't you ask for a change of venue?
I don't know why the lawyers haven't sought any change of venue, but I would say that actually what is on trial is the Los Angeles court system. Los Angeles is on trial. We don't feel that we are.
The country is watching this trial very closely?
Well, the press, again, has put forth a great deal of effort to contain the press coverage. Outside of Los Angeles, most people in this country don't know the trial is taking place.
Truth will free you from anything, and Negroes don't know the truth. You find a Negro getting drunk, he doesn't know the truth. You find a Negro taking dope, he doesn't know the truth. You find a Negro lying and cheating, he doesn't know the truth. He's usually imitating the white man. Negroes get drunk because they see white people get drunk. They smoke cigarettes because they see white people smoke cigarettes. They commit fornication and adultery because when they turn on the television, all they see is the white man committing fornication and adultery. So, and they want to be like the white man, so they copy his immoral social habits. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad comes along and teaches black people the glory of black. And instead of the black man then trying to imitate the white man, he tries to imitate God. He tries to be himself. And he tries to display high moral qualities rather than the low moral qualities.
Mr. Muhammad's analysis is that until the image of the black man in the mind of the black man has been changed, you will always have delinquency, parental as well as juvenile. So his entire approach is not so much to change the attitude of the white man toward the black man, but to change the attitude of the black man about himself.
And change it in what direction?
Change it
what
in...
should the attitude be?
Well, a feeling or a sense of inferiority has been created by the white power structure, educational and otherwise, in the mind of the black man about himself. And Mr. Muhammad's entire approach is to restore to the black man a knowledge of himself, a knowledge of his people, his cultural roots. And by doing this, this restores his racial identity, his racial dignity, his confidence as a race, racial confidence in his own kind. And when he gets this self-confidence, he's then able to stop blaming and begging the white man and is then able to stand on his own feet. For a man who is a Catholic president, who himself was discriminated against for a long time and accused Protestants of practicing religious discrimination, I think that he is way out of line to use his position now as the first Catholic president to open up his mouth against a religious group here in this country that is headed by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. If he's not going to open up his mouth and outright condemn the Citizens Council by name and condemn the Ku Klux Klan by name and condemn the white Masonic order, which is all white, by name, and the white churches in the South by name, then Kennedy is wrong to point at the Muslims because we are black and because we don't want to mix with the people down there. And I should say that when we express our desire not to mix with whites, they call us a hate group, and Martin Luther King is running around here telling Negroes to love all kind of white people, and they sick dogs on Martin Luther King. So it answers itself, and it shows the hypocrisy of the white man.
It's our people here in North America. So give all you possibly can to this cause. And remember, anything you give will not go unrewarded. All praises are due Allah. So visiting with us.
It's always a blessing. Many of you may wonder in your minds, is it actually necessary to receive a message from God today, or is it necessary to receive a messenger from God today? And the only way that you can intelligently come to a conclusion is to analyze and observe the times and the condition that the world is confronted with, that America is confronted with, and that Chicago is confronted with. And I very much doubt that all of you would agree with me or would fail to agree with us that we're living in a time of great trouble. And this trouble is worldwide, this trouble is countrywide, and this trouble is citywide. I very much doubt that you would fail to agree that America is a troubled land, faced with crisis upon top of crisis, trouble upon top of trouble, and problem upon top of problem. Economic problems, political problems, moral problems, and most important of all, race problems. The biggest and most serious problem confronting the world, confronting America, and confronting the city of Chicago is her race problem. The presence of 20 million so-called Negroes who today are crying for citizenship, crying for civil rights, crying for recognition, crying for human rights, and crying for human dignity. And this cry of these 20 million black people who are here in America has been heard throughout the world and is causing great embarrassment to come upon America today because she is depicting herself or presenting herself as the land of the free. To you. If you aren't aware of the seriousness of the times, the seriousness of the condition that the world is confronted with and that America is confronted with, you cannot intelligently nor rightly appreciate the presence of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the city of Chicago this afternoon. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is a man of God. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is a man from God. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is a man who is with God, and he is a man whom God is with.
Well, one of the things that they could do, they could see that the federal government had to intervene. Since Jim Foreman and others there have not been able to get government intervention with peaceful methods, we feel that we can send in enough brothers into that area to carry on a campaign of terror against the Ku Klux Klan to the point where the government would have to intervene itself and occupy the state of Mississippi. How can you advocate violence in an area where 3 men have disappeared who were doing nothing but trying to show our people how to register to vote? This is there. The violence is already there. We are going there to put down the violence. Since the government isn't able to stop the violence that's being committed against Negroes, we feel that it is necessary to put a halt to this violence ourselves. And Lyndon B. Johnson just stated this week that this government would go to war to protect the peace that this government wants. And we feel that our people have reached the point wherein we can see that we're going to have to go to war against the racists in this country and make war against them ourselves in order to preserve our own peace and in order to preserve our own lives and our own property. And this is not advocating any kind of violence. This is being prepared to retaliate against those who are violent with us. And we think that this is the only language that the Ku Klux Klan and the White Citizens Council and the George Lincoln Rockwells and these other racists and extremists understand. It's not advocating violence. Our people there are already the victims of violence and have been the victims of brutal violence on the part of the Klan. We're advocating self-defense units and self-defense units alone.
Who would the victims of this guerrilla army be?
Only the racists, only the people who are inflicting criminal assault upon the lives and the property of our people in that area.
Malcolm X, what do you think of Cassius's victory in Miami?
I think it was a great victory. He proved he was the best man.
And where were you during the fight?
I was in the auditorium watching the fight.
Right at ringside?
Right at ringside. I was in seat 7.
And do you think that Cassius, as being a black Muslim, has had anything to do with this victory?
Well, I haven't heard him say he was a black Muslim. I have heard him say that he believes in the religion of Islam, which makes him a Muslim. And it did have a great deal to do with his victory because he's a clean, living young man. And this is the main thing that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad does teach in spreading the religion of Islam throughout among our people in this country.
Mr. X, how long has Cassius been a black Muslim? Do you know that?
Well, I don't know. Cassius is probably more capable of speaking for himself than any other man in this country.
If those of us who believe in black nationalism spend all of our time thinking only about Africa, which is about 9,000 miles away, with a great deal of water in between, we will place our people here in the same position that they were placed in by the preacher during slavery, where they would dream about some place way up in the sky. Because many of our people see going back to Africa just as difficult as the non-religious Negro now thinks in terms of getting up to a city in the sky somewhere. So we have to have a new approach, a new appraisal. And this new appraisal and new approach has to be in tune with the reality of the conditions that we are in after having been thoroughly brainwashed by this blue-eyed white man. Some of them have brown eyes. We are African, and we happen to be in America. We're not American. We are people who formerly were Africans who were kidnapped and brought to America. Our forefathers weren't the Pilgrims. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. The rock was landed on us.
Well, as Muslims, we judge a man according to his behavior, according to his conscientious behavior. And you'll find that all of the injustices that black people are crying out against in this country are being inflicted upon them by whites. It is the whites who are depriving our people of civil rights.
It is whites who are depriving our people of implementing what the Supreme Court decision said should be implemented. Wherever black people turn, they are facing the hostility of whites, so that when you get the collective pulse beat of Negroes in this country, you'll get a truer picture of how our people think. You can't go up to an individual and ask him what does he think. How do all of you think who are catching hell collectively at the hands of white people collectively? Now, there are a few individual Negroes who...
Is it fair to say, as a generality and as a succinct way to put it, that you believe in segregation of the races?
No, segregation is that which is, Mr. Muhammad says that segregation is that which is forced upon inferiors by superiors. Separation is done voluntarily by two equals. You never refer to the Oriental community in which Orientals live exclusively as a segregated community, because they live there voluntarily. Everything there is controlled by them. The economy, the politics, the civic organizations, but the Negro community is referred to as a segregated community because Negroes are forced to live in that community contrary to their will, and they don't control the businesses of their community. They don't control the politics of their community, nor their social life.
There are reports that your life is in danger. Do you feel that these are at all concrete?
Well, yes, since I went to Mecca and reported that the religion of Islam is a religion of brotherhood which includes all mankind, it caused a great deal of wrath in the heart and mind of Elijah Muhammad, who has been teaching that the white race is a race of devils. And to prove that they are, he has always taught us that whites can't go to Mecca, that Mecca is a holy city, that Mecca is a forbidden city, and no whites can go there. So when I wrote a letter back from Mecca while I was doing my religious pilgrimage, pointing out that at Mecca I found every specimen of humanity from the whitest white to the blackest black, and why it upset Mr. Muhammad because it more or less pulled the rug right out from the heart of his teaching. So they have begun to plot and scheme and plan, but up to now, thanks to Allah, they haven't been successful.
What have they planned and schemed?
Well, efforts have been made to do bodily harm to not only me, but all of those who left the Muslim movement because of their discovery of some very severe acts of immorality that exist.
To bring about the complete independence of people of African descent here in the Western Hemisphere, and first here in the United States, and bring about the freedom of these people by any means necessary. That's our motto. We want freedom by any means necessary. We want justice by any means necessary. We want equality by any means necessary. We don't feel that in 1964, living in a country that is supposedly based upon freedom and supposedly the leader of the free world, we don't think that we should have to sit around and wait for some segregationist congressmen and senators and a president from Texas in Washington, D.C. to make up their mind that our people are due now some degree of civil rights. No, we want it now, or we don't think anybody should have it.
I don't believe in any kind of nonviolence. I believe that it's right to be nonviolent with people who are nonviolent. But when you're dealing with an enemy who doesn't know what nonviolence is, as far as I'm concerned, you're wasting your time. And I think that the people in this part of the world would do well to listen to Dr. Martin Luther King and give him what he's asking for and give it to him fast before some other factions come along and try to do it another way. What he's asking for is right. That's the ballot. And if he can't get it the way he's trying to get it, then it's going to be got one way or the other.